being held on Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023, in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Town of Chatham Wetlands Protection Bylaw. My name's Janet Williams, and I serve as the chair. Today's hearing is being broadcast live on Channel 18 and is being recorded for the on-demand archives available on the town's website. It's being conducted in person, by phone, and by video conference. The agenda, the instructions for how to attend, and copies of all documents for review have been posted on the town's website. So to all participants, whether you're attending by phone or online, please remain muted unless you've been recognized by the chair. And when you've been recognized, please identify yourself for the record. If you're attending by phone, you can mute and unmute by hitting *6. If you're online and you're not a commissioner, please keep your camera turned off until you've been recognized. Indicate that you wish to speak by using the raise hand feature. And so that we have a record of a quorum attending today, I'll now ask each commissioner to indicate their presence. Vice Chair Karen Lattin.
Present.
Bob Rawls.
Present.
Bob Delvecchio.
Present.
Mary Sullivan. Does not seem to be here. Elise Gordon.
Present.
Cheryl Maservi.
Present.
And I am here, so we have established that we have a quorum. And for those of you who are watching at home on TV, we've been asked to read the following announcement. Chatham Government Television will be moving on the Comcast Xfinity channel lineup. The change will occur on or about August 17th, 2023. Chatham's government television broadcast will move from Comcast Xfinity Channel 18 and 1084 to Comcast Xfinity Channels 8 and 1070. So, beginning on or about August 17th, Chatham Government TV can be viewed on Comcast Xfinity Channel 8 and Channel 1070. I see Commissioner Mary Sullivan is here.
I am present.
Thank you. We are all here then today. Before we begin the agenda, are there any announcements of any requests for continuances today? Nikki? She's muted. There she goes.
Sorry, I'm having a little connectivity issue. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Nope.
All right, I'm calling in just a second. You can go ahead and start.
Okay. We do have a request for a continuance for 676 Orleans Road, so if anybody is here for that, it will not be heard today. And that's all I have, Nikki. So at this point, as soon as she, oh wait, I'm sorry. Thad, you have a hand up. Are we continuing or not?
Hi, Thad Eldridge here. No, we were not planning on continuing. We were continuing this one through zoning, which was approved last week.
Right, okay. We weren't sure that we had anything new to talk about today other than to schedule it for an order for next week, but we'll talk about that when we get to it on the agenda. So it is not being continued. So if you are here for 676 Orleans, stick around.
Yeah.
All right, Nikki, have you resolved your problem? She's not. All right, so we will just start with the agenda. We're starting today with notices of intent. The first matter for review is 68 Judges Way, Caroline Beaumont, map 11B, parcel 1A-R5. SC number does not yet seem to be assigned. Proposed swimming pool. I'll just note again for the record that I am recused from this matter, being in a butter, so I will let others take the lead on where we are. And hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Commissioners.
Sorry, Nikki's here, by the way,
Okay, Nikki, gotcha.
via phone.
So 68 Judges Way.
Can you please identify yourself for the record?
Oh, hello, yes. Donald Chapman, Principal and Project Manager for Strong Tree Engineering,
Okay,
representing the Beaumonts as the applicants. And we have a single-family residence, 1 acre lot with a bordering vegetated wetland to the northeast and a short section of riverbank that connects the BVW to the east and a pipe to the west that discharges to Oyster Pond River. This is our revisit, second hearing to see you all. There were 3 specific follow-up items we wanted to take you through. And we provided the associated documentation with that as well. Just going to pull up my notes here. So on the existing conditions, which was the C1, the first sheet that you have, we field surveyed and added 3 additional trees to the plan that we marked for removal to the east of the pool. It was previously shown as tree line, so we specified those. There's now a tree symbol with the diameter specified. On C2, the second sheet, the plan now includes 2 other trees that were to the northwest of the pool as designated for removal, so that's 5 total instead of the 3 original that we discussed that could have the potential issue once the pool is installed. And sheet 3, this is what I'll focus on here up on the board, is the restoration and details. And we added notes on the invasive management for a 3-year minimum, up to the tree total to 5, and shrubs to 11, so there's a 30% increase in the coverage. Full growth restoration area coverage will be, is designed for beyond 100% with the additional plants once they mature. I know one of the ratios was Commissioner Bob, your question. And we added a note that would give the agent, you the commissioners, the ability to require any more plants after or during planting install if it was deemed necessary. So we put a couple different notes here with respect to the vegetation.
You have to stay by it's hard to do. You have
Sorry, yeah,
if your arms were longer.
the pink designates the restoration area in the notes I was referencing there. You can see the additional diagrams. Oh, thank you very much. The yellow is some of the notes on the planting, and then you'll see in orange the circles for the tree markings as well, specified there.
Okay, is that it?
Yes,
Thank you,
thank
thank
you.
you. Questions or comments from anybody? Go ahead, Karen.
So you noted the size of the trees coming out, but I didn't see the species noted. Could you tell me what those 5 trees are?
Yes, we have that.
I didn't see it. That doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah, so the planting schedule is here.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm asking about what's coming out, not going in. I wanted to know what species you were taking out.
Yes, let me see if I have that in some notes here.
Don, I'm on the phone.
Oh, if you know offhand, Justin, so Justin's the professional engineer, principal in the company, and the engineer that's been assigned to the project. The question from the commissioners was around the species of the 5 trees that are being removed.
Yep, there's 3 cedars, an oak, and a black cherry.
Could you tell me where the oak is that's coming out?
Yep, that's to the east, the southeast of the proposed pool.
Okay, southeast. So in the deck
one of the-
area?
It's in the, so if you, the house, so the pool corner, I would say the
Okay.
right corner, the
Yeah.
eastern corner, it's one of the 3 there.
Yep.
So there's
Okay.
a cherry, yep,
Also, there is, there are, the tree that I think is sort of at the corner of the garage, as I saw it, that they had said insurance company had an issue with, that seems to be in the area that you're using as, I think, your approach to do all the work. Is that's not being affected at all and not going to be dealt with at all?
correct.
Okay,
Correct, that's right adjacent to the restoration area, so that is staying. It's outside the limit of work.
okay. And I didn't get back out there to look. The restoration area, where you're putting all of these trees and shrubs and everything, I sort of remember there being ground cover. Is that invasive, or what are you doing in that area where you're putting all of this mitigation?
Yep, so we'll rake it clear the, whatever vegetation's there. It's kind of like scrubby, cleared area. There's it's not turf. It's kind of just, cleared forest cover. So we will rake it, put all the plants in, seed it, and then maintain it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Questions or comments?
It's
Questions or
the note
comments?
just under the pink that you referenced there. Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Bob?
I got a question on the new lawn that's going in, the grass seed. There's a note, no fertilizer to be used and no permanent irrigation as well?
It would be it'll be a native blend mix, the type 1 for restorative.
Right.
And there is no planned irrigation for that area. So it'll be watered and nurtured.
Okay. Okay, that's all I had, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Bob?
Hi, couple of questions. I don't remember we discussed this last time. The pool the material surrounding the pool, will that be pervious or impervious?
Do you want me to handle it? It's, they're proposing the Chatham granite, so the joints will be pervious. The actual granite slabs will not, but the joints between them will be pervious.
Okay.
We also have, above the wall, the wall's designed to have stone behind it, so we'll filter any stormwater coming off the deck prior to making it to the wetland.
All right. My other question, and again, I thought we had discussed this before, and that is that the mitigation area is adjacent to, normally, and I think it is in this case as well, invasives. And I thought we had talked about ways to, yeah, if you could talk about what, I didn't pick up from your plan that you had addressed how to protect the mitigation.
Yeah, so the idea is the applicant is going to hire a landscaper, and we added the note that restoration area to be maintained from native species encroachment, min 3 years is what the note says. So whether that's a mow strip like you mentioned last time, we are guaranteeing that we will keep invasives out of that area for 3 years, minimum. Obviously, that's the note kind of is like a coverall that we're agreeing to, your comment there.
Yeah. Well, manual removal, mow strip.
Well, we have in our standard provisions that mitigation will be protected in perpetuity. So, which is better than 3 years.
Yeah, well, the 3 years was just so that
Yeah.
the plants
But just so you
catch and
know,
grow.
just so you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
that's part of the
perpetual,
deal, that's
yeah.
part of the deal here. And mow strip, I guess you're not proposing a mow strip. I know we talked about it.
We did not,
The plan, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, no, anybody who wants to answer.
yeah, no, go ahead, Justin.
So we don't specifically say mow strip, but that's definitely, it depends on the landscaper. So we're guaranteeing that we'll keep the invasives out of the area, and we're happy to condition it for, obviously whatever you guys want to condition. The applicant has no problem, obviously with adding more plants, as Don mentioned, and keeping invasives out of this area. They understand what they need to do to, because this is riverfront, so.
Okay, I forget what the nature of the invasives there are, how prevalent they are. Does anyone recall there? Okay. Yeah, so I personally think that a mow strip is useful. I mean, the jury is still a bit out on how effective it is, but I think it's better than nothing. And that won't be in the NDZ. It wouldn't be in the NDZ, so that's good. I don't know. I'll let my colleagues opine about whether they would like one or not, but I think all things being equal, it's good to have it.
I agree. And usually we ask that it show on the plan.
Yes. If the idea is to have a mow strip, it ought to be depicted.
Is that a requirement you're delineating?
Well,
To-
I don't know, is it a requirement? It sounds like,
Well, we ask that it, if you're doing a mow strip, that it be reflected on the plan so
but I
that,
guess he's asking, are we requiring a mow strip?
well, what other
Or
options?
what would you require? Yeah, would be the question.
Well, if there's invasives in between the spaces, if you will, a mow strip keeps that from jumping, and I think that that would be a benefit to have that required,
I can't think of a better option.
right?
At least we
No.
haven't come up with one yet.
We haven't, no.
You never
It's
know.
not a great option, but we don't have a better one.
That's where we're at.
And I just thought of another question I had, and that is, I guess I'll ask my fellow commissioners, do we want to have some demarcation here of this mitigation area? It is a, one area of mitigation, so it lends itself to being demarcated. If we have the mow strip, that takes care of, I guess, in a way, demarcating the backside, and the front side's demarcated by the pool, so maybe it isn't strictly necessary, but I just thought I would bring it up.
Well, it's a bit away from the pool, so I do think something needs to be done. I don't,
Is there a lawn area between the pool and the mitigation area? Or,
yes, from what I saw.
So the mitigation area sits here just outside the work?
You have to be at the mic.
Oh, sorry, yeah, no, I was just, pointing out the space on the map between the mitigation area, the limit of work, where it sits outside, and then the space between there and the pool.
I didn't follow the answer. Is there space, there is space?
There, yes, it's this space right here.
So it's like,
This triangle.
Is it lawn?
Yeah,
It's lawn?
Yeah.
Grass, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, all right, so it's sort of, I mean, I would argue that it's constrained, and it's kind of obvious where the mitigation is, except on the left side. But
And I
anyway,
was gonna
In the
say,
back.
maybe include some bigger stones, just outlining that area to the left, where the trees are, and,
all right, okay.
where the high bush blueberry is, and so forth.
Yeah, we just like to keep we like to keep the landscapers out of the mitigation area because, years go by, property changes hands, landscapers come in, they see it's unruly area, and they go in there and they weed whack it, things like that. So that's why it's good. That's why we'd like to have something that says this is a special area in some way. So sometimes we'll require.
Yeah, I think boulders or rocks is a great idea. We're happy if that would be conditioned. I
Yeah.
think
It could either be done that way, or it could be done, sometimes there's a single rail, split rail fence, something like that. Okay, so we'll condition it that it will be demarcated on the left side, on the, whatever that,
Is it the pool side or the left side?
left side is what I'm calling it.
left,
Yeah, it looks
Westward?
like northwest or
Yeah, there,
yeah,
Okay.
north,
Got it.
northwest of the pool.
northwest of the pool, okay.
correct.
Understood?
I have one detailed comment.
Go
in
ahead
the-
there. I can leave.
In the watering notes on item number 3, I think we need to take out the clause, if an irrigation system is not provided, since we don't allow irrigation systems, only temporary irrigation. So there's no confusion from anybody else reviewing the plan about putting in an irrigation system.
True, and we always have it in the order anyway.
Yeah. So I just didn't want there to be any question.
I agree.
Anything else? Anything else? No? Cheryl? No? Anybody else? All right. So what I have here, what I've written down in terms of changes is just adding the mow strip to the plan, indicating that that's there, and removing references to the irrigation system from the plan. And I have a number of conditions I've written down that I'll rattle off in a second. But I think if anybody, do we need any, are we waiting on anything else or any further information?
I
Are we
don't
ready
think
to
so.
schedule this for an order?
I think it's ready.
Okay. So if we're going to go ahead and schedule for an order, I've just had here to add the conditions. We have some standard conditions on demarcating mitigation areas to keep it separated. We'll add those. We'll add a finding that the granite pool deck will have pervious joints. We will add our standard language for monitoring and managing any invasive vegetation from getting into the mitigation area. That'll be a continuing condition that goes on beyond the three-year survivability period. And that's all I have. Anybody else have other conditions? All right, then. I think we're ready for a motion to take this to August the 9th for an order.
I move that we continue 68 Judges Way to the meeting on August 9th, 2023 for an order of conditions.
Gordon, second.
Okay, roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
And I abstain, so that passes. We will see you, if you're here, we'll have an order for your review a week from today, Wednesday the 9th.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commission.
Thank you. All
All right, the
we
next
can-
notice of intent, oh, you can hear me?
Yep,
All right, the next notice of intent is 23 Wilkie Way, William Riley, map 17D, parcel 9F10, removal of invasive plants, new planting, new gravel infiltration strips at residence and garage, new bark mulch path, expanded crushed shell driveway, new walkway and steps, and new fencing. But now that I'm back on, just a reminder that we don't have SE numbers for some of these, so we can suggest that they're continued for an order of conditions to the next meeting, but it is pending the SE number.
what if we don't have an SE number by next week? We just have to hold the
Then
order
they-
and wait until we get one assigned?
Yes. I mean, they can review the order, like we can
Yeah.
draft the order, they can review it and everything, but we cannot issue anything until an SE number is
Okay.
assigned.
Okay, fair enough. Got it. Okay. So is there someone here for 23 Wilkie Way?
Good afternoon, this is Christopher Patsky with Zen Associates. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hello, Mr. Patsky.
There, how are you?
All right.
Since the last meeting, we've done a couple of things. We've forwarded this plan that you should be able to see that indicates the elimination of a proposed path, the elimination of 2 proposed plant beds, and the connection of a proposed plant bed to create a contiguous planting towards the right of the plan. We've also submitted an image of the fence as requested. I'm assuming that you can see this fence image. And I also understand that there's been a site walkthrough. So that's
Okay, is that it?
it.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we did. We received the revision to the plan, the sketch that shows the changes that you've just reviewed. And we thank you for arranging for an on-site visit, and thank you to Mr. Riley for walking us through. It was helpful to see where the new mitigation area is proposed to be and how it is adjacent to already naturalized areas to form a continuous strip of naturalized habitat, so that's helpful. We noticed a couple of other things while we were there. We did notice that in the front of the property along Wilkie Way is a large vegetated area, and there's a stake in there, which we realized when looking at it that the stake says center of driveway. So we realized that a fair amount of the vegetation in that area is going to have to be coming out to permit the construction of the new driveway. We also noticed that in some of the naturalized areas adjacent to the proposed mitigation, invasive knotweed and porcelain berry are overtaking that area. So a couple of things that this will lead us to ask you, and one is that the sketch that you submitted needs to be turned into a formal revision to your plan. So you can, when you do that, we would ask that you also identify trees and native shrubs that are proposed for removal, both in the expanded driveway as well as, I know there's some vegetation that's going to have to be removed for the new parking area. We did notice that some of that is invasive. I think it was a shrub honeysuckle. But if there's any native shrubbery or any trees at all in that area that have to be removed, we would like that noted on the plan, the number and the species. And so because you've eliminated some of the impacts and you've changed the mitigation, one thing that has to happen next is that you're going to need to recalculate your total impact area, because it's going to be somewhat different than the table that's currently showing on the original plan. And similarly, you'll have to recalculate the mitigation that's being proposed to compensate for those impacts, so that we have those numbers, because we need to put those into our findings. What else? Mark the trees, and the native shrubs for removal. If you heard us in the last session, you'll know that we will include in our order provisions to require that the mitigation area be monitored and managed for any incursion of invasive plants into that area, and that's going to be a continuing condition. What else do we have? I'll let anybody else put in any other notes that they have from review of the on-site. Bob?
Yeah, everything you said, Janet, but focused also on protecting, well, showing us what the actual mitigation area is once it's all said and done. Right now, we've removed some areas that you were calling mitigation, and just to somehow crosshatch, make a different color or whatever, so the area that is the offered mitigation area. And then related to that, I believe at the north end of the mitigation area, there's existing invasive vegetation, and as we always do, we try to talk about how to protect the mitigation area from the adjacent invasives, whether it's by a mow strip or whatever. And as you heard from the previous application, we have a standard condition that says that the mitigation area has to be protected in perpetuity, but we like to go further than that if we can to protect it. And that's it.
Thank you. Anybody else down there? Elise, Cheryl? No? Karen?
I think we also, in that new mitigation area, we need to know what specifically will be going into that mitigation area, since you're taking out some mitigation areas. So I think your counts possibly on all of the trees / shrubs, et cetera, will change, and we do need to have it identified, where those are going, so that we can be sure that we have the proper coverage for mitigation as opposed to what you're doing in hardscape.
Okay.
That's it.
Good point, Karen. Bob?
I just want to make a note that there is, like Janet said, Japanese knotweed adjacent to one of the mitigation areas. But are you aware of the invasives on the property in those areas?
Yes.
Okay, so you know where the Japanese knotweed is, and you know where some of the other invasives are.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. So, I think we noticed, there's a lot more invasive problems on the property than just the area that borders the mitigation. We're not asking you to deal with all of that at this time. It's a big deal. Just that so that the mitigation area is properly protected from these invasives because they're adjacent to it. We've got the list that I've gone over a couple times about a revised plan, redated, recalculate the impact area, recalculate the mitigation area, indicate what's being planted in that mitigation area in terms of species and size, and location, yep. So with that, I don't think we would be able to get that, have time to do all of that and review that for next week. So the next available hearing is August 23rd, which would give you until the preceding, the 21st or so to get those changes into us for review. Does that work?
I'll have to review that timeline and confirm, I'll confirm with conservation staff.
Okay, well, we're going to vote right now to continue it to the 23rd, so.
You can always continue it
You
on
can
the
do- yeah, if you need more- If you
23rd
need more
to,
time than that, yes,
further.
absolutely, you can confer with staff, and they'll advise us to give you more time. We never have a problem doing that.
all right.
All right, then we're ready for a motion.
I move that we continue 23 Wilkie Way to August 23rd, 2023.
Gordon, second.
All right, roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
And I vote aye, that's unanimous. We will see you back here on August the 23rd. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Nikki.
All
Onward
right,
and
the
upward.
next one, sorry, I have a coworker, as usual.
Oh,
89 Taylor's Pond Road, William T. and Karen Kuskoris. Trustees, 89 Taylor's Pond Road Realty Trust, map 5C, parcel 29B, PT 19, SE 10 3636. Deck expansions and hardscaping, removal of invasive vegetation, and restoration with native species.
Hi, this is Stephanie Sequin. Can you hear me okay?
yes, we can, Stephanie, hello.
Okay. And Teresa Sprague is joining us as well. We are representing Mr. and Mrs. Koskoris, who are the owners of the property at 89 Taylor's Pond Road. And this is a continued hearing for the project is a proposed expansion of the existing decks and hardscaping, as well as vista pruning and a very extensive land management plan. What is being proposed is a proposed expanded deck on the first floor, at the first floor level. At our first meeting, you had several questions and comments. We've since submitted a revised site plan. Hopefully you're looking at one revised July 28th, 2023. And based on your comments, we have reduced the overall depth of the deck to just 10 feet deep from front to back. This is sort of, the existing deck is 10 feet deep by 15 feet wide. And we just feel that this 10 feet is the minimum practical dimension to be able to comfortably put a table and chairs and to have ample room to get around that furniture. But we have reduced the square footage of the proposed deck. Similarly, you had a concern about the proposed patio on the ground at the walkout level, and because part of it is within the 0 to 50 foot buffer, we have reduced the footprint of the proposed patio within the 0 to 50 foot buffer, and basically just shown roughly a 3 foot wide walkway that provides access from the existing patio to this more expanded patio area in the 50 to 100 foot buffer. We also, on the site plan, took a look at the grading, and I've shown there's currently about a 4 foot high retaining wall underneath or at that walkout patio level. So I've just shown that existing retaining wall to be extended underneath the proposed deck. It would allow fill to be placed in there and sort of terracing the grade so that we can cut down on some of the stormwater runoff that's presently just running down that embankment. So just to give you some numbers, as far as, I think there was a question about the square footage of the existing deck and what was being proposed. The existing deck is 138 square feet, and the proposed deck expansion is 279 square feet. And again, keeping the same dimension of that 10-foot depth that's existing and also proposed. And as far as our coverage within the 0 to 50, we have 7 square feet of deck proposed and 63 square feet of walkway for a total of 70 square feet increased coverage. And within the 50 to 100 foot buffer, we have 307 square feet of deck and 105 square feet of patio for 377 square feet total. So I think that's it as far as the revisions to the site plan. Teresa has also submitted a revised land management plan. So unless you have any questions for me, I'll turn it over to Teresa.
All right, anybody have any questions just for Stephanie? Nope, let's hear from Teresa then.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Teresa Sprague with Blue Flex Design. I'm sitting in my car, so I'm not going to put my video on, but I'm safely pulled over to the side of the road. But I do want to just discuss a couple of the changes that we've made. As Stephanie pointed out, we've reduced the size of the proposed deck. In addition to that, after going back out to the site, I also made some adjustments in the proposed Vista corridor. So the Vista corridor, that edge on the eastern side, we've brought in quite a bit to align it with the existing path so that there won't be, and there's no need for any pruning or any management outside of the path area that's showing. So we narrowed that quite a bit. And of course, as we discussed at the last hearing, this lot is incredibly well canopied, and the whole eastern and southeastern side of this lot is fully canopied, and even the area that had been pruned and cut without benefit of a permit by the neighbors next door is regenerating fully and has been fully replanted and restored. We additionally, there was a question about some of the existing vegetation that is in the area of the proposed deck. We are proposing to transplant 1 clethra, 1 winterberry holly, 1 inkberry holly, and 1 arrowwood viburnum that is existing in the area of the proposed deck expansion into the naturalized area. Additionally, there's 1 non-native mock orange and 1 lilac that we're proposing to remove entirely outside of the 100-foot buffer. We are proposing, with the deck being pulled back now, we have a little bit more room for planting between the pathway and the deck itself. So we're planting more sweet fern in that area, right between the pathway and the proposed timber retaining wall. And then additionally, I believe one of the commissioners asked, because we are proposing to remove some previously topped oak trees. I noted and flagged in the field 9 oak trees that had been topped, as well as 1 cherry tree that we're proposing to remove and replace with native shrubs in that Vista management area. So I'm happy to answer any other questions. I think I've covered all of the questions the Commission had at our last hearing.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. And Stephanie, I see you have a hand up. Did you want to add something else? Or you're muted.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Okay.
I'm all set.
Okay. All right, questions or comments for either Stephanie or Teresa? Bob, do you have anything?
I just have a couple. Stephanie, the walkway, the new walkway and the proposed patio, how will those drain?
Those will be flagstone with wide, it's set on a pervious base with wide joints.
Okay, and what if it rains heavily? I mean, do you have like any provisions for like, water runoff, maybe to some trench draining or anything like that? Or you don't think it's necessary?
I mean, it's really level up there and really well vegetated, right, all around. So I think between the levelness around the patio and the fact that it is densely vegetated will absorb, we're not talking about a whole lot of surface area here.
Yeah, and you're just gonna pitch it away from the house, those areas?
Yes.
Okay. And then Teresa, I had a question about the lower path to the southwest. And I asked about people cutting or pruning the existing native vegetation along the coastal bank, above the coastal bank. Did you see that?
Well, Stephanie and I actually walked the entire pathway, so there's a loop path that runs just in front of this house. And neither Stephanie nor I could find signs of cutting, so I don't know if I was in the wrong place, but we walked down the existing footpath that leads to the path that rings the marsh. And then she and I walked both east and west all along that pathway to see if there had been any cutting, and neither of us could identify any cutting. We didn't see any signs of cut branches or pruned limbs left behind. So I don't know if somebody had done some pruning and left some things that they cleaned them up after you mentioned it in the hearing, but we didn't see any signs of that.
Okay. And maybe it's farther down, adjacent to another property. But I have
Okay.
walked that before and I've noticed it before, but maybe it's not there. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Karen, anything?
Previously, we had said that we preferred if it said view window versus view corridor. Can that wording be changed on?
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes, my
then
apologies.
at the last meeting, or June meeting, we said the end of the path had been illegally pruned at the coastal bank, and you were going to try and find out who owned it and who maybe had been pruning it, and I was wondering if you had found out anything?
I think that's what Bob was just referring to, and
Okay.
we didn't, yeah, I think that
Okay.
is what Bob was just referring to. Yeah, but I will absolutely change the Vista corridor to Vista window. My apologies that I missed that.
No, that's fine. I was just curious.
I guess you were done.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess just one little thing. On the second bullet, maybe the third bullet, on the vegetative management plan here, the last, let's see, is it the last sentence? It says oak trees will be removed, flush cut removed, and we mentioned it had to be treated. They had to be treated instead, Teresa?
They will be treated, so I did not change that plan note, but I can make sure that that states that the oak trees will be cut, treated, and removed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Bob?
All right, I just want to make sure, Teresa, that I'm looking at the latest, at your latest plan. Is it dated June 28th?
It is dated June 28th, so I had made some revisions. I had made the revisions for our plan, and then when Stephanie had finished with the timber wall design, I brought it into the plan that had been revised, and I had revised it on June 28th, and I didn't change the date to July 28th, so again, my apologies. I had made my
okay.
It was
revisions
July 28th.
regarding the...
So, right.
Yeah, so I believe, so I have revised plan notes June 28th, 2023, because I had made my revisions prior to Stephanie submitting the retaining wall underneath. So I can certainly update that so our plan dates match.
Okay. Yeah, I was confused. So, So you said that you narrowed the view, whatever we're calling it,
The view window.
window,
Yeah.
yes, okay.
Yes. So the view, the orange line that's showing on the eastern side of the plan, so coming off of the patio, had originally been a little bit further to the east and heading out a little bit more towards the southeast. And so after visiting the site again, when Stephanie and I went out to do the measurements for the retaining wall, I really stood on the patio and realized that we could pull that view, edge of that view, proposed view window in to just run right along the existing path, that there's no need to do any additional vista management outside that historically hadn't been managed. Again, we're really focusing on an area that had been managed by previous property owners. It's fairly open, and we just want to be able to maintain that existing view. So I pulled that edge of that vista window in a little bit more to the west, so that it was more accurately reflecting what's existing in the field at this time.
Okay. I don't think I have any questions.
Okay. Elise? Cheryl? Okay. I think, let me just check my list. I think that covers everything that I had too. All right, I think that is all. So we are ready then to schedule this for an order next week on August the 9th.
They go to ZBA the 10th.
You go to
At least
ZBA on the
that's,
10th.
I think what I had noted.
That's right.
Okay, so then, should we do it for the 23rd? After you've been to ZBA, or?
I think at this point, we might as well wait until, just to make sure nothing comes up during ZBA. So if you could continue it to the 23rd.
Okay, got it. And you'll notify Nikki if anything comes up at ZBA that changes anything and before we start writing the order, okay?
Yes.
All right, do we have a motion then?
We do. I move that 89 Taylor's Pond Road be continued to August 23rd, 2023 for an order of conditions.
Gordon, second.
Roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Oh,
Bob?
yes.
Mary?
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye too, that's unanimous. We'll see you back here on the 23rd. Good luck at ZBA.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Nikki, where do we go next?
The next order of conditions is 676 Orleans Road, Christian Dietrich, Riders Cove Dreams LLC, map 12J, parcel 5, SE 103625. Raise the existing dwelling and redevelop the property above the coastal bank. And I believe Thad's here for this.
Yep, Thad, apologies for saying this was going to be automatically continued. We do know that you got your approval at ZBA last week sometime. And we have received, I guess the only thing that I have here that we've received is the mitigation maintenance plan from Lindsay Strode. I don't have the
Yes,
date on
so-
it, but yeah, we've looked at that and we will incorporate that into an order. What else do you have outstanding on this?
For the record, Thad Eldridge, East Southeast, and that's really about it. That went in, we kept delaying because of zoning. You haven't had an opportunity to react to that plan, and I was giving you the opportunity now if you'd like to have any comments.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have comments or questions on the mitigation monitoring and management plan? The underlying plans haven't changed, correct?
Correct, those
They're
are all the same. There were a couple of minor changes at the Zoning Board of Appeals, but those were with the building itself.
Okay, but since we haven't approved them yet, last time to get a bite at the apple on the underlying plans as well, if anybody has any questions or comments on those.
So this is a plan of care, as I read it, which is separate from the originally proposed mitigation plan. Right?
Yes, the mitigation that had been planted before when the seawall went in, or the bulkhead, there have been some invasives that have entered into there. That was recognized by Commissioner Vivacchio, and now Lindsay will go out there and take care of those. The other mitigation plan still stands, so there will be a vegetated buffer strip installed along the top of the bank.
Yeah, I just had to go back and refresh my memory on the mitigation plan itself, and there are a few more hydrangeas than I would like, but it sort of meets the current guidelines, at least until we publish the new ones.
They're
They are-
effective.
Are they effective?
They
No,
were
but this
effective
predated
yesterday.
it.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
This is grandfathered.
yeah.
All right, so you don't need to look so alarmed. I think I'm good.
All right, thanks. Elise, Cheryl, Bob? Karen?
I'm good.
I am good too. We will have this incorporated, so we will schedule this for an order for next week on the 9th.
Excellent.
Have a motion for that, please?
I move that 676 Orleans Road be continued to August 9th, 2023 for an order of conditions.
Gordon, second.
Roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well.
Thank you much.
Thank you. See you next week. We'll have an order. Oh,
The next,
coworker.
the next item up is a certificate of compliance for 270 Stage Harbor Road. Craig S. Morong, map 13A2, parcel 3, D166, SE 10404. Construction of a single-family dwelling. All right, Princess. As you can tell, that at 404 is it was a long time ago. I think it was 1983. So it's
Wow.
there's no, real conditions or anything, not particularly good plans and all that kind of stuff. So there's nothing I can really do other than recommend approval.
All right.
I move that, oh, what?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, this is a very, 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 very long time ago, and so out of curiosity, I went and looked at Google Earth over the years for this property, and the only thing that popped out at me was a few years ago, I can't tell, it looks like a structure that was put in between the house, between the lawn and the native vegetation, and I can't tell what it is, but I was just wondering when you were, if you looked at it, Nikki, I'm not sure you even did because it's so long, it's so old, if you happen to notice it. I don't know what it is.
So what I would recommend with that is still certificate of compliance, but if we want to look into it further, we can add it to like the enforcement order list, and then we can investigate possibly when it was done and by who.
Yeah, so at least I think in the last 5 years that showed up, and I just can't tell what it is. But it looks like potentially at least and of course, we probably don't have a current wetland delineation of any kind, right?
No, and I believe this is just a like real estate transfer type of, it came up as being open.
Okay, well, I just don't want to have this order approve whatever that thing is unless we know what it is. I mean, the certificate.
Yeah, but they're asking for approval for this project that was done a very long time ago, whereas maybe 5 years ago, someone put a shed or whatever it is up. So I don't think we can necessarily deny this certificate of compliance for the project that is open, but then that's what I'm saying. We can add it to like the enforcement list and say this was never approved. It needs to now be on a new plan of record.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, not to play the role of the, the skunk at the garden party. But I don't think we can vote on this today, because I'm just noticing that, and tell me if I'm wrong, Nikki, the agenda says 270 Stage Harbor Road, and the application is for 270 Stage Island Road. Did we advertise the wrong property?
Yeah, I'm looking at Stage Island.
I'm looking,
Yeah, that's what I was looking to see if you had the right,
I was looking at Stage
You-
Harbor.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I was looking at Stage Harbor. So it's,
So which is it?
Well, the application, request for certificate of compliance is for 270 Stage Island.
Oh, boy.
So my knee-jerk sense is that we have to re-advertise it.
Yeah, I mean, I would just go with that, and then I can look further into Bob.
Right, in the meantime, we can check and see if there's anything in the file for permitting that, and if not, we'll add it to our list of inquiries.
I don't know if are there any representatives here for this one? I'm sure it's a real estate transfer being this old. So is there any immediate action needed?
Doesn't look like anyone's here for it. The certificate
right,
was
we'll
requested by Bill Litchfield, so that does sort of underscore it might be a real estate transaction, but, you know, it's August 2nd, I don't know whether it's urgent to do it before the 9th.
There's something over there.
Crystal and I can contact him tomorrow, and,
Okay, because we're just gonna, we can
I mean,
just, what do we have to do on
Now I-
today?
only
Do we
1 week,
continue
so.
it? Since it's,
Yes.
or just ignore it because it's not properly on the agenda? I don't know what to do.
Weird.
That's a good point.
I see it now. I gotcha. Right there.
I guess I would just, yeah, it's not advertised properly, so I don't know how you would continue it.
Right,
So I guess just ignore it and we'll add it to the next
we'll
agenda.
schedule it for the 9th. Okay.
okay.
All righty. Moving on to an easier one.
All right, then we have
Reese's.
23 Grover Run, Mark and Jane Johnson, trustees, map 12J, parcel G6, SE 103217, demo existing dwelling, construct new dwelling with pool and patio.
Well, this is a lot newer, so, no, this was just before I got here. Do you? Oh, I was ignoring it then. It had been ongoing before. I remember that it took months and months. And it was an ongoing conversation that I didn't entirely understand. So what do you say about this one, Nikki?
Sorry, just pulling up the as-built.
Well, I remember, this is when Crawford came in 2020 to take over the mitigation planting. That's what, oh, that's right. So the plants were installed in 2021. That's,
Yeah.
now I'm remembering, that's the
Oh,
issue.
yeah, this was the one, we literally just talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we probably can't accept this one as well, just because the plants have only been in since 2021, and so that doesn't meet the 3-year requirement.
Right. Can we issue a partial certificate for the other
Yes, we
elements?
could do a partial
and
for
dwelling? Yeah.
the dwelling and the terrace and pool and stuff, but they'll have to come back again next year for the planting.
Okay. You got that? You can articulate that?
I move that we approve a certificate of compliance for 23 Rover Run for the existing dwelling, pool, and patio, and condition the planting as ongoing.
Gordon, second.
Yeah, that's right. Roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that's unanimous. Okay.
All right. Then next up, we just have the minutes for June 14th, 2023.
Okay. It looks like Elise and Bob and I have all
Yeah.
made notes. If anyone's here, no one cares. But it's not like, no, it's not like an order. I was going to review them.
Oh, my
Like I do with, but this is just the minutes and we're just making corrections. So, and nobody cares.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys hit everything.
I got something
found.
small, Jan.
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
At the end of 58 Whistler Lane,
All right, hang on a second, let me find that. Yep, go ahead.
the last sentence,
Yep,
it reads wrong, so the last sentence, omit, is no and.
Yeah, there is no and will not be.
there is
Just get,
not and will not be.
Yes.
Yes, okay,
there will not be.
okay. The three proofreaders before you didn't catch that.
That's all I had, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, anything on the minutes? All right, let's have a motion to approve them then.
I move that we approve the minutes for June 14th, 2023.
Gordon, second.
All right, roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Abstain.
Karen?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Mary?
For a loop.
Aye.
And I vote aye, so they are approved. All right, Nikki, any unforeseen items?
I believe we just have the 2 geranium enforcement orders to ratify.
Have they, to ratify, or have they been issued yet, or are they going to be issued?
This is so that we could review the wording on them and then officially make sure that they are issued.
So we're going to approve the forms that we have that we have in front of us. It's not a ratification of something that's already happened.
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So the way that these are both being done, and because Nikki's got her coworker there, I can help her by saying this, her view was, rather than just issuing an order requiring them to submit some sort of restoration, the order is going to require them to appear before the commission at the hearing on the 23rd, where we can explain in more detail to them to make sure they understand both the nature of the violation as well as what we want to see in a restoration plan. And at that point, we will give them a deadline for when that restoration plan would need to be submitted. It might be the same in both cases, it might be different, we have to look at that. So these are pretty bare bones in terms of what they're asking. They're only asking that the property owner or representative appear at the August 23rd hearing. The commission will establish a timetable in order for restoration and/or action they deem appropriate to address the unpermitted cutting. We'll do that on August 23rd. So that's what these are, both the same that way, so they will both be calendared for August 23rd. Any?
Do we have to do any vote?
Yes, we're going to approve these today so that they can be issued. So the motion will be to approve these 2 enforcement orders.
No, these weren't on the agenda, does that make a difference?
These are unforeseen items.
Okay. Just lump it in there, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Normally you would, but these have been in production for a while, and there's been a lot of conversations with the homeowner about it, so there's no surprise or anything here.
I
Okay.
move that we approve the enforcement orders for I move that we approve the enforcement orders for 65 and 77 Geranium Drive.
Gordon, second.
All right, roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
And I vote aye, those are approved, and Nikki, you can go ahead and process them and get them out the door.
Do we need to
Yes,
sign?
so,
We
since
have to
we're
sign
gonna
them?
certify mail, we're gonna certify mail both of them, but I believe Paul is still planning on hand delivering one to the person that he's been interacting with at, the 60-something geranium.
Do you need us to come
So,
by and
just-
sign them, Nikki?
I think so.
We
Yes.
have the blanket
Oh, they have
signed
it there.
forms that you
Okay.
have been doing.
Open, so we
So if
get
you're
for
fine with
signing
that,
things in
then.
blank. Create some efficiencies. Okay. That's it? Anybody have anything else?
I move, do you have anything else? Oh, I
ready to
move
say
that
aye.
we adjourn.
Gordon, second.
Roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. We are a wrap. We will see everyone back on the 9th.
Real quick before, oh, you guys are gone.